NYYST. This is New York. Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York. Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York. Yankee sports talk, homie, New York. Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NYYST, you're hanging with the fellas.
Well, welcome back. This is episode 369 of the NYYST podcast. We are live here on NYY Underground. I am your host, Christian, as always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And SGR.
Okay. Wait a second. Go ahead. Okay.
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 Okay. I got to limit the amount of OKs because apparently last week I was told
you triggered.
I triggered people.
Here's how I think about
Please
it.
don't limit the amount.
The bigger we get,
your point so much better.
The bigger the show gets, the more haters we're gonna have. So
Well,
I embrace
I hope
all
we
the
have
haters.
a ton of haters. Okay.
Okay.
We have some exciting news about the show that we're going to share next week because we still have to cross the T's and dot the I's on some things, but it just means that things are, like we say, NYY to the moon. We're getting there. We're in the rocket ship right now, baby. So we're getting there. Before we get to the moon, though, we have to. Excuse me. We had meatballs for.
You all right?
It's repeating on you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let's get excited here because our buddy Fred is back. Fred never makes an appearance. Fred rarely makes. I don't think he's ever made an appearance in February before. But I'm just very excited to get Fred out of the way this year and kind of look forward to what's going on in the season. But before we bring Fred into the fold here, we want you to smack the like, okay, and subscribe to NYY Underground. Make sure you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review there. And hey, you know what? You go outside, tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends about NYYST and NYY Underground, okay? So the Yankees are in camp, and I don't know about you guys, but I can't get enough content coming out of camp. I've just got this different excitement about the team this year that I haven't had in previous years, and I'm not going to let any negativity infiltrate itself right now. I'm excited. Juan Soto, he looks just so miserable. He doesn't even want to be here.
Yeah.
With
Definitely
Aaron
a rental.
Judge, even Nestor's looking good. I mean, there's not a lot you can take from the first couple of days other than baseball's back. The guys are there. You're hearing a lot of the right things coming out of their mouths right now. Hal Steinbrenner spoke to the media today. I'm going to read a few quotes in a little bit. Stan's not only slimmed down his body, he's changed his stance. Anthony Volpe's gotten rid of the uppercut from early.
Is he still Dig Bick, you think?
I don't know. Did you lose weight down there? Okay.
I think it actually gets
anything,
bigger.
yes, it appears larger.
Well, you'll be able to see because they're wearing see-through pants now these days.
Okay.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with the Fanatics stuff going on right now,
It's
man? People are not happy with it.
So
It's
there was
embarrassing.
an Mariners player. I can't think of his name right now. I think he used to play for the Red Sox. Michael Chavis sounds about familiar. So the 1 and the 0 on his jersey were not even. So he posted it, and this is how fucked up Fanatics is.
Yeah, it was Michael Chavis.
Fanatics support reached out to him and said like he was a customer.
Oh,
and they were
my
like,
God.
So, yeah, I mean, this is the one time you cannot, not that anybody should be complaining, but this is the one time you cannot complain about the Yankees not having the names on the back of their jerseys because their jerseys actually look fine, because the majority of what looks atrocious, in my opinion, is the way the names are written on the back of them.
It's the worst. I said it to my buddy the other day. It's the first time that I have a booner again for this team in over a year. Like, I don't think I was truly excited about anything all of last season and even leading up to it. Like, there was nothing that excited me like I feel right now. And it feels so good to feel that way again.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped. I know that there's still things that kind of need to be done. Aaron Judge gave his little wry smirk about it when he spoke to the media the other day. There was a lot of chatter on the web yesterday. It kind of felt like the night that Yamamoto signed, where there was all that chatter, and then he ended up signing, but nothing happened. I don't want to get too deep into it because I want to read the Hal quotes, and then we got a lot of stuff to do here with Fred. But Blake Snell to the Yankees, and I've been saying it for weeks here. I think they will find their way back to each other, and everybody's got a source, okay? But it makes a lot of sense that the Yankees know that they need more starting pitching. They say they want more starting pitching. Aaron Judge says they need more starting pitching. Aaron Judge is boys with Blake Snell. Blake Snell does not have any other offers on the table. I mean, the other teams that have even been remotely connected to Blake Snell are California. This is how old I am. I know them as the California Angels, as
Yeah,
the
man. Okay.
as the Anaheim Angels. I refuse to call them the LA Angels.
Of
Uh,
Anaheim. Okay.
Okay.
No, I think they dropped that actually.
The Anaheim Angels and the San Francisco Giants. Now you can get a very healthy contract from the Yankees, or you can get even more money from two teams that, let's be real here, are not going to sniff a World Series. Whereas if you're Blake Snell and you come to the Yankees, and we'll go over this when we get to Fred here, because Yankee win total is one of the over-unders we're going to be doing. The Yankees would be the prohibitive favorites in the American League if they get Blake Snell.
Yeah. I think they are regardless, but
I mean, Vegas's numbers and reality would actually be connected with each other if they got Blake Snell, because I don't know right now.
Yeah.
I can 100% say that they're the favorites. They're one of the 2 or 3 teams that are, in my opinion, can get out of the American League.
And it would have to be the first time that 2 reigning Cy Young Award winners teamed up in the same rotation. It's almost like impossible.
Then you'd be switching.
Yeah.
Somebody would have to be a free agent switching leagues there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever happened.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
can we tell people who Fred is?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
I mean, if you're I know that the channel has grown, the show has grown, so maybe not everybody knows who Fred is. But if you're an OG, and shout out to Patrick, who reached out to me earlier this week. He's been down on his luck health wise lately, and he's said he's been feeling better. We miss you, man. You're the OG, bro. We got to get
you,
bro.
fella.
We got to get you out here at some point, man. It's been going on 7 years of this podcast. We got to get you out here, and we got to get Chris's promise.
Like 9 years, bro.
Chris has promised that if you come to America and go to a Yankee game with us, that he will get so drunk he will vomit on himself.
No. I will projectile vomit.
I'll do that no matter what.
I will be fucking Patrick. So for anyone who doesn't know, Patrick is from Ireland, and he dubbed us the fellas. And
that's right. That's where the name came
That's true,
from.
man. I forgot about that.
Hello, fellas. And Patrick, if you fucking come to the States and we go to a game, you have my word. It will be the drunkest I've ever been, and I will projectile vomit by the end of the night and blackout.
You get here, tickets are on us, and we'll have a good time.
Absolutely.
So the first time 2 reigning Cy Young Award winners have ever pitched in the same rotation together was actually Max Scherzer and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers.
Because he got traded.
Yes, the only time that's ever happened was 1986 was the White Sox, Steve Carlton and Tom Seaver, but they weren't on the roster at the same time. They were both on the White Sox at that time, but they weren't in the rotation together. So Scherzer and Kershaw, that did happen, and then Snell and Cole will hopefully be the next.
Yeah, but Scherzer's a fucking bitch.
Sure.
So he doesn't count.
Scherzer.
All right, so like we were talking about this a few weeks ago, and Chris gets triggered when I say things like this.
No, I'm not getting triggered anymore.
Like
man.
the Yankees need
No,
to
you
get
can't.
like the Yankees need to get creative, and you know what? Why not? Here's what the thing is. All right, with signing Blake Snell is that the Yankees, and I know that you don't care about this, but the Yankees as an organization do. They will lose 2 draft picks and international slut money, which we know that the Yankees love international slut money. And apparently Dane was saying in the chat, Dane Michaels, he's a sexy boy, sexy sexy boy.
Do I have to keep this kid away from my wife? Like, is she gonna fall
you're
in
gonna
love with him?
have to, bro. No
That's all I
wives,
keep hearing
no
about,
wives
dude.
around Dane, bro. No wives.
Damn.
Dane's a wife stealer, bro.
Fuck. He's a home wrecker.
Home wrecker. Okay. Was saying that the Yankees, something happened a few years ago where the Yankees lost some of their international slut money and had to take back a contract from somebody who ended up signing with the Orioles, and he's like a top 15 prospect in baseball right now. So I mean, those things are important to the Yankees, and plus the Yankees are at a 110% tax rate.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a
Yeah.
$1.10 for every dollar they spend. Get creative. Why can't the Yankees figure a way out to defer some of this money
They
out
can.
of 2024 here? And
They
let's
can.
not do one of these short-term 1 year go back into the market things. Give Blake Snell a deal where he has to guarantee you 3 years before the opt-out, so you can spread the money around a little bit, because there's going to be some money coming off the books next year, whether or not they resign Soto, whether or not they resign Glaber. Clay Holmes will be a free agent. That's a guy that's making $7-8 million. There's money that will be coming off the books where maybe it'll be a little bit more palatable. And even with Garrett Cole's opt out, yeah, the Yankees can pick up the option year, the 10th year to get rid of the opt out, but maybe they rewrite the contract and lower his number a little bit and give him a little bit more money on the back end. There's things that they can do. So why not? They can get creative, and we all know that this team wants Blake Snell. The team, I mean, the guys on the field, they want Blake Snell on this team. And I think Blake Snell wants to be here. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I keep saying this over and over, but if I put it in a more realistic sense, nothing matters right now except for right now. Nothing matters beyond this year. You have to have that mentality. It doesn't mean that you have to necessarily sacrifice the future, but you have to, like you said, get creative to this point, because it's possible. And if Cashman wants me to believe he's still the guy that gets creative and finds ways to get things done, this is a very doable thing. I mean, look at what the Dodgers did with fucking Ohtani.
Yeah,
Like,
listen, some news came about that earlier today, because Brian Cashman went on a different podcast, okay?
oh,
And on there, the subject of Ohtani's contract came up, and he said that he felt a little bit better about the situation, knowing that the Dodgers didn't bring that to Ohtani, because he doesn't know how anybody could have the balls to say that to a player, that it was Ohtani's people that came to the Dodgers with that. And I think Andrew Friedman, is that the team out there? Even verified that, like, he was like, oh no, I could never. How could I expect a guy to defer $68 million?
well, it makes sense for Ohtani, right? I mean, you have to imagine he plans to go back to the motherland when he's done, and he wouldn't get California tax on that shit. So, like, makes sense. The dude's like the Tiger Woods of baseball at this point. He's making money from endorsements.
Right. He's not like that. First of all, you shouldn't go poor making $2 million a year. And we all know that he's not just going to make $2 million this year.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, coming back to all of that, like, you can still get creative. And to me, until they win something, I'm not going to let this team off the hook. I still am going to hold them accountable and say they have to do whatever it takes. But I get that it's still a business, and you have to cover your ass some sense. But here's my thing, and I was thinking about it the other day. Let's say we had Cashman.
Does somebody have the chat up in case something pops up?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just say we had the real Brian Cashman on the show. Okay. You want to know what one of my first points I'd want to bring up to him is?
Yeah.
What the hell were you wearing the other day?
Why does he care so much about the future? I want him to just at least admit.
Well, you understand that's part of his job, right?
Hold on. Yeah. How many years are left on his contract?
3?
3 more years, yeah.
Okay. Would you say in a normal situation, Brian Cashman's job would be really in trouble right now if they fail?
I
No.
would say if they are not, if they miss the postseason again, then
If
yes.
he's on any other team, if he's the GM of any other team, after last season, wouldn't you say that this season's an all-in, not just for the Yankees, but for him to secure his job?
So the only thing that they've done that would lead anybody to believe that they're not quote all in is that they don't want to trade Spencer Jones.
Okay, so my
But
point
but
is,
all their other actions are saying that they are all in.
if Brian Cashman has the reins here, which we all know he pretty much does,
I do.
we know Hal steps in deals that he wants to make happen that he doesn't have faith Cashman's going to get done.
Yeah.
but why are you so concerned with the future, Brian? Right? Like you should be all in for your own sake right now.
Well, you
But
do
if
want
you
to
had
go
a-
all in. You do, but you also need to budget for the future. We feel like Spencer Jones is a commodity that we see beyond 2024 into 2025, 2026. And, you can't just kind of fluff those kind of guys. You got to make the right deals and try to make sure that you're staying relevant and competitive for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, great. That's it. That's the answer you'd get, right? That's the answer you'd get. But the point I'm trying to get at, and I would grill him on this, is Brian, what makes you so confident you have a future here?
He's going to point to the fact that he has a contract.
Okay, but even the 3 years, my point is that contract in a normal situation, in a regularly functioning organization, should be on the line here.
But
It should be.
You want him to speak to something that he's going to say, "Oh, I have a contract."
Of course, but
So obviously he's looking at not losing 2 draft picks in next year's draft.
he doesn't look at this as his job being on the line. He looks at it as, I'm going to be here for as long as I want to be here. And I need to make sure that I'm protected in years beyond now. And I think that when I've given this front office a tough time, that's the big part of it, is that I don't want a GM right now that has that mentality, because he should be sitting there going, I didn't even make the fucking playoffs last year. My ass is on the line. I need to go all in right now. When is realistically spent? Okay, maybe a couple years from now, he's really in his groove. We just brought Volpe up a little early, and
What if
we
he
saw
plays this year,
him-
like we talked about last week?
we saw the growing pains. Hey, if he plays this year, then great. But my point is, Brian Cashman's mentality is still set in future tense, and it's concerning.
Well, it's not set in future. It can be set in 2 tenses, now and in the future. I think you're
Yes.
looking at both things right now.
I need more
which-
now. I need more now.
Okay, so trade Jason Dominguez too while you're at it.
I pulled a rookie Jason Dominguez today, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
the
nice.
new tops are nice. I really like them.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't think I
would.
was gonna. I didn't
You
think I
would.
was gonna. I thought they were ugly at first.
All right, so I don't care to talk about Brian Cashman anymore. It's, we can move
All right.
on from that.
All right,
let's
fine.
let's talk about
Okay.
the man that signs his paychecks, though, Hal Steinbrenner, who spoke to the media today. And there were a couple of quotes. There were a lot of quotes, but I pulled these 3 out in specific. God damn it! Here we go.
SGR's hair's getting long again.
Uh,
Yeah.
So remember the whole idea that the Yankees didn't go to 325 with Yamamoto because of Garrett Cole?
Yeah.
And then people were like, well, that means Juan Soto's not going to re-sign because they're going to have to pay him more than Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So the media actually asked Hal about this, and was his quote. I guess it's an interesting question, but not one I've thought about. I'm not sure Judge would care if we got Juan Soto for many years to come, but the market is what the market is, and he's going to cost what he costs. We'll have to wait and see.
I think the idea of not being able to pay someone more than your top player is just ridiculous.
And it doesn't
And-
sound like that's going to come into play here.
And here's the thing. I say this all the time, right? Julio Rodriguez, he signed what was his deal? 20 years?
I don't
Wasn't
remember.
it was something dumb, right? And I get it. It's awesome. If I'm sitting there as the
12
player,
years, 209 million.
What was it?
12 years, 209.
I thought it was more than 12 years. Is that like,
No.
wow, I thought it was more than that. But anyway,
I don't think you can really go past like 14 years. They kind of flag you when you try to do that.
here's the thing: as a player, it's all you feel all cozy, right? But you're taking a huge risk because we've seen it year after year now that the market jumps so drastically.
And if he breaks his leg tomorrow,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's a win-win for the player, and I get it. But the other aspect of it is you're not keeping up with the market anymore. And so if you're a guy,
but he's also going to be ahead of the market for the next 6 years.
Okay, but what you're not understanding is you then can't get butthurt even if you're a franchise guy who signed a big deal, where another guy's coming in to help you in a World Series.
Who's getting
and they're
hurt?
Going to make what I'm just saying the whole narrative of Judge being offended or you can't pay him
Judge is
more.
not offended.
I know, you fucking jerk off. What I'm saying is it's stupid to even bring up.
So why are you bringing it up?
Because everyone does. You just brought it up.
I brought a quote from Hal Steinbrenner, which he basically said it's the non-issue.
Right. What I'm saying
not
is
an issue at all. We are not concerned. We will do whatever it takes to re-sign Juan Soto. It does not matter the cost. It does not matter. It does not matter.
A little more cuck in there, though.
I need just a little more cuck in there. Just a little more Al Gore in there. Just a little bit. All right. And we're going to re-sign Juan Soto whether you like it or not.
It's a little too basey. That's what it is.
Yeah, a little basey.
A little higher, like right here.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
I'm telling you, 2 more weeks and you'll have Hal Steinbrenner down.
See, but here's the difference with the Judge and Soto. Soto is a caliber. He's in the tier of Judge, where a guy, because who was the debate of who to pay if Cole might have someone outpay or have a bigger contract. It depends on the caliber of player that you're comparing with, but then it also comes down to and I'm not paying Yamamoto more than Garrett Cole. I'm not paying someone who's never played in the league more than Garrett Cole. I'll pay Juan Soto more than Aaron Judge, 1 based on the caliber of player and 2 based on the market, like you were saying. And this whole thing with Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole wanting to be a voice for this organization going forward. I mean, what better way to be a voice than to say, I don't care what you pay Juan Soto, give him whatever he wants. I don't care if I'm not the highest paid player. And then going to Garrett Cole with that, I like that point you brought up before, Christian, with the restructuring of his contract. I mean, how many times do we see in sports where leaders of teams restructure their contracts in order to bring in more talent? You saw it with Tom Brady with the Patriots all those years, LeBron James. You saw it with Ohtani's contract this year. That if that's what it's going to take for you to have an influence and make a difference on this franchise, then that might be the way you change the team and for your benefit.
If you're not going to pay someone more than Cole, do it from a logical standpoint, which I agree with. If you're going to sit there and say logically, I'm not going to pay a guy who never threw a pitch in Major League Baseball higher than the reigning Cy Young, fine. I'm not going to
look. We talked about it last year when Scherzer went to the Mets. When that happened, I didn't like that move because he was making a lot more than Jacob deGrom. I don't think that should be the case. I although those two are in at that same tier, so it kind of goes against my argument. But I feel like certain players shouldn't be out. Their salary they should be the highest paid player on the team. Certain players, and then it depends on the market.
It is a status symbol too.
But okay, I know we don't want to harp on this, and we got to move on. But my point
is,
don't
harp on it.
We can't make it a status thing, because what I'm saying is when you're Aaron Judge signing a 10-year contract or a 9-year contract, within 3 years, your contract is outdated. Even if you're still a much better player than whoever else you're signing, it's still outdated because the market goes insane. Like we're paying guys who are half the player the same amount of money. So you can't be held to that standard either.
Okay, Warren. Okay. So Hal Steinbrenner was also asked about adding Blake Snell or other players, and he goes, given where we are payroll-wise, any addition to the club is going to be a costly one. I'm still willing to consider anything that cash brings my way. We are not done trying to improve this team.
Okay. I mean, I've heard that before. But I'm way more on board with the Yankee front office right now than I've been in a long time.
Yeah,
I mean, are you offended by that comment?
No, I think it's a fair comment. I think
again, it's all the stuff we're discussing. He knows that if he's bringing in Blake Snell, he's paying him. Or he's not paying him, but that's what it's going to cost.
Yeah, look, if you need to get creative. As long as he's open-minded to it. Again, it would take more for me to believe him, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. I think they've done enough to earn back the benefit of the doubt.
Don't you think Hal deserves more credit than he gets from this fan base?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the fan base has been fair with Cashman finally of giving him shit, but I don't think Hal. If you again, we say it how many times you want to rip Hal for continuing to bring Cashman back here.
That's fair.
That's fair, but don't say he's cheap because his money is spent. Don't say he's cheap, and he's stepped in when
you know who's not. You know who's not here if Al Steinbrenner doesn't step in.
Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
Probably also, according to a lot of reports, Juan Soto.
So now here's my thing.
Soto.
Guess what?
He put the boots to Cashman's ass to get Juan Soto here.
Guess who almost flubbed both of those deals? The guy that Hal Steinbrenner continues to hire. So if you want to have a gripe with him over hiring Cashman, I think it's more than fair. But other than that, I don't understand the hatred for Hal Steinbrenner.
No, I mean, look, bottom line is you're a fan, you want to win, right? But from ownership, I like to see a commitment to winning, right? And I can never say that maybe, you want to say that there were years where the Yankees were trying to reset the luxury tax. Well, they did that, and now look where they've been the last 3 or 4 years. Now they're repeat offenders multiple times over. That's why they're in a situation that they're in,
right.
Partially. So, the Yankees, for right or wrong, they're making this. I guess you could say that they're in their era where they're making their push. But again, like a lot of the things that they didn't work out. Like Josh Donaldson was not a finishing piece. He was just finished,
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't hold that venom towards Hal that a lot of fans do, because I think Hal is investing in this team. He's investing a lot of resources in this team. This team had their highest payroll ever last year, and now they topped it again this year. So you can't say that he's not trying to win. He's not a baseball guy. He's trying to win the way that he knows how to win. That's
right.
Opening his checkbook. He's just not trusting the right people. And that's what we get on Hal for.
Yeah. And you can also get on him for his quotes last season. Like if you want to get on here.
Right. But listen to it, and then we can. Right. He didn't say the best things last year, but what have we been talking about? Last week, the Yankees pitchers and catchers reported, and SGR was on assignment. Okay. And Pete sat in his box. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God. Pete Seminetti's in Rogers' box. But anyway, and we said all the talk. Stanton came out earlier in the week or last week, said, I'm not paid to be the nice guy or the guy that says the right things. I'm paid to win a championship. We haven't done it. Garrett Cole.
Who said this?
This was Stanton.
Stanton, love him.
Garrett Cole. My main goal and pretty much my only goal is winning a title here. Right?
Yeah, I love the Pirates.
Boone, we're hell bent. We're hell bent on being champions. Cashman said it. We need to win, and we need to win now. Okay. So we were talking about this. There seems to be a different mindset around this team, right? And the boss, baby boss. And I'm gonna call him that.
Boss baby.
Boss baby.
Okay. Last year was an embarrassment, says Hal Steinbrenner. We were all embarrassed. He says he sees a quote different mindset team-wide in camp. They feel like they have something to prove to this fan base.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's all I want. That's all I want. Tell me you're an embarrassment. Tell me you're just as embarrassed to run this organization as I am to say I'm a fucking fan of you last year. And let's get all on the same page here and go into this season and have one thing on our minds and one thing only. No more fucking excuses.
Cannonball.
No more fucking umpires are bullying me. No more, any of this bullshit.
The postseason's a crapshoot.
Yeah, none of it.
I like that because that's the Yankee way. It's championship or bust. So
That's it.
Where the narrative the last couple of years was, hey, you make it to the dance. Who knows what happens? And that's just not the way that the mentality that works for the Yankees or their fans.
Look, don't get fooled. I know people get fooled. No, I'm not getting fooled by words, but the words coming out of this organization the last couple of years made you sick to your stomach. The words coming out of this organization this year are everything that you as a fan have been feeling. Now, whether or not they got a good PR class over the winter, I should say, and they gauge how the fans felt, and they're saying this to placate the fans. A conspiracy theorist, live on, right? But for me, To hear the owner say we're embarrassed, we have something to prove to this fan base. To hear the GM say, to Chris's point, oh, why is he? We need to win now. The GM said that. Your best players are all stating the same similar goal. We were brought here to win a championship. Nothing else matters.
Damn right.
It's got to be done on the field, but it's February 22nd, and it makes me as a fan feel like they have their heads in the right place, at least going into the season right now.
Damn straight, bro.
So, unless I think we covered pretty much all the news and notes, and now it's time for Fred, our good old friend Fred. Okay, so Fred's been a long-time contributor to the podcast. He usually comes on right before the season starts, but we decided to bring Fred on a little early this year because I don't know. I just felt like
he starts drinking a little more towards the end of February and into March.
So remember the last couple of years we said that maybe he wasn't drinking so much.
Yeah.
Some of his projections are a little drinky here.
Okay, egregious is the word you're looking for.
No, drinky.
Drinky. So Fred is what do we use? Baseball Reference?
We use Baseball Reference, yes.
He's the Baseball Reference algorithm.
That comes up with the projected stats for the upcoming season. And
so if they ever call him Fred, they stole it from us. Okay, we had it first.
We had it,
and
he's
a drunk. He's an old, drunk, miserable human being.
Yeah, didn't you create like an AI generated version of Fred at one point?
Yeah, it was awesome. He's just an old drunk, looks like a retired fucking phys ed teacher who just sits at a desk and doesn't throw any garbage away, and he's just an alcoholic, and he projects the Yankees numbers.
So we chose we have 16 projections that we're going to go over, and we're going to vote over or under on the projections. 15 are players, and then we have the team win total. So I brought it to you guys earlier today that I was going to do the quote 10 starters because I counted Trevino and Wells as the catcher, so that where you get 10 from, plus the 5 starting pitchers. Right before we signed on, I made a change because I really do love Jose Trevino, but his numbers are just not worth discussing, and it's just kind of boring talking about him
because he was out most of the year.
Well, a lot of these guys' numbers are going to be skewed because they were out a lot of the year, but they're still important to discuss right now.
Okay.
I just don't feel, after thinking about it, I just don't feel a discussion about Jose Trevino is
worth it. And here's one thing I'll throw out there before we start. Last year, if you've been listening to the show over the years, last year we had a lot of low numbers that we were like, come on. If they don't do this, if this guy doesn't hit this, we're not making it into the postseason. Well, guess what? A lot of those low numbers weren't hit, and the Yankees didn't make the postseason. So some of these might seem easy to hit, but this team hasn't stayed healthy over the last couple of years. So they're pretty important numbers.
Yeah, for most of the pitchers, I did innings pitched because I think for these guys specifically, those are going to be that's going to be the most important thing for them.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start out with the reigning Cy Young of the American League, Garrett Cole. Last year, Garrett Cole was absolutely outstanding. I would love to see somebody argue with me on this. The best pitching performance by a Yankee starter in 40 years, since 1978, actually. So that would be 45 years because I'm 40. Okay, so that was before my time even. Garrett Cole threw to a 2.63 ERA last year. Fred projects Garrett Cole to throw to a 3.33 ERA this year. I'll start because he's my boy. Okay, I'm going under in a big time under for the ERA projection for Garrett Cole. Yeah, 3.33 is nice, but that's after the year he came off of, and for what we really need Garrett Cole to be. I'm going to be disappointed if he's throwing to a 3.33. So I'm not going to say that he's going to be in the mid twos like he was last year, but I need like 2.8, 2.9. You know, somewhere around there, like to really cement himself.
I'll take a 2.98. I'll take it that high. I will.
So you're speaking, so go ahead.
I'm definitely taking the under. I don't think Garrett Cole's going to win Cy Young again, but I think he's going to be in the discussion for sure. I think he'll be a top 3 finalist. And I don't think he'll be anywhere near the 3.33. I think he's under. I think he's in the twos again.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. I'm going to also say under. Last year, I went into the year with a lot of pessimism about Garrett Cole. I really didn't think he was going to ever really have a season like he had this year. I'm flipping that switch. So I got to say it's going to go under.
Under.
All right. Next up here, we have Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon had a miserable start to his Yankees career last year. Injured, had a near 7 ERA. He threw 64.1 innings last year. Fred projects him for 110 this year. So, Chris, we'll start with you.
Over. Better be over. Better be way over.
No, not better be. What do you think it's going to be?
Over. I do. I think a lot of these are going to be optimistic for once from me. And I think I think all of us have every right to be optimistic right now. I think Rodon looks fucking great. I think he looks like a guy who's embarrassed, if you want to go back to that word, who's embarrassed of what he did last year, and he has a lot to prove. And he's the kind of guy you want with that mindset to come in and have a lot to prove. I'm going over easily on that.
SGR?
I want to go over, but I was really disappointed in his season last year. Hopefully he's this year's Garrett Cole for me, and I'm going to be pessimistic with him now, and then he'll prove me wrong as the year goes on. But I am going to say under. That whole back issue kind of scares me. The velocity dip, the lack of pitches that he in his arsenal. I feel confident that Carlos Rodon's going to be that guy. But I will say I love his mentality. He's definitely someone to root for. He's clearly was frustrated with his performance last year, and you're seeing that in his off-season regimen. That's all. I hope that he goes over that, obviously as a Yankee fan, but also just for the hard work to pay off, because he's definitely working hard. Some will say hard. So, but I am gonna have to say under, man. Sorry, Carlos.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to take the over because honestly, I don't know how he can be under again this year. Honestly, if he's healthy in camp, he's got to hit 110 easy. I'm not saying, we're all hoping for 170, 180, right? Like that's the dream. That's how he's been healthy all year. He's having a really good year. But for him to not hit 110 and he's healthy in camp, I don't know about that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with 110. Even if Knockwoody is injured, you can miss. You can miss a decent amount of time and still hit.
You can miss a month and still hit.
Because if you look at his 2018, he only started in 20 games, but he still eclipsed 120 in 2/3 innings. So even if he misses 15 starts or 10, 11 starts, depending on how many he gets,
you hope that
should still hit that. So yeah, that's a great point. But let's hope it's well over.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over on the 110. Honestly, I was chatting with everybody in the group chat on Twitter, okay? And I said, me and Pete, we're going to get into some fisticuffs over Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole this year because they're both going to be dominating American League hitters, throwing to sub-3 ERAs, and we're going to be arguing with each other over who the alpha dog of this rotation is.
Yeah,
I hope.
For sure.
So I got big hopes for Carlos Rodon this year. He's going to eat somebody's fucking heart on the mound this year, and even if he misses a month, he's going to hit 110. I mean, not that I'm wishing he's going to.
Don't miss a month, but even if you do,
don't miss a month. Okay,
But if you do, you should hit it.
All right.
Okay.
Another guy who has just been a breath of fresh air in camp is somebody that honestly we didn't want here for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And that's Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman threw to 136.2 innings last year. Fred's got him projected for 141. Ryan, you're up.
I'm going to go with the over there. I think he's someone that can give them innings. He's another guy. This is my favorite part about them reporting and stuff is the dynamic that some of these new guys have kind of already started. He's one of those guys that's really doing a great job with presenting himself, that he really wants to be there. So I'm kind of just going to stay optimistic. He's been a healthy type of player for the most part, I want to say, and 140 is not crazy, and he's gonna get the opportunity to go over that number. So I'm gonna go over for Stroman.
This is kind of this is a good. See, I said some of Fred's numbers were a little drinky, but this one is pretty good because this is where Stroman's been sitting the last couple of years.
Yeah, 136, 138.
So this is a little bit of a bump. Um, we don't push here, but I'm going to take the under. I am on Stroman.
Ooh.
I'm going to take the under on Stroman, but it's not going to be like a 84 inning under. I just think he's going to sit in that 135 to 140 range, and the number is 141.
Yeah.
Can you tell me off the top of your head what those injuries were the last couple of years that held him back?
Wasn't it a oblique or side or something last year?
All right. Nothing shoulder wise, nothing.
I don't know. Off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
left calf, hamstring, chest, right shoulder, fatigue.
It was a shoulder. It was a shoulder last year.
That was 2022. Last year was the rib and
The
finger.
rib. Yeah. Okay.
22 is the shoulder. And then right shoulder fatigue in 2018.
Look,
Got a little bit of a
we know it's
shoulder.
part. We know it's part of his allure that he's this little guy and he's like a pit bull out there, but
Yeah.
he's also a little guy and I'm not saying that to be
Yeah,
disparaging.
but that should make him more nimble, no?
No, it should also mean that the wear and tear on his body is going to add up a lot quicker than a guy that's built a little to handle it a little bit more. That's why I'm saying I don't know, man. I'm a little bit more bullish on Carlos Rodon staying healthy than I am Marcus Stroman. But if it's 135, 140, we're going to get a quality 135, 140 out of him. I don't think, again, I'm going to say this again about Marcus Stroman. You're not going to get bad innings out of him. The talent is there. It's just how much we're going to get out of him this year.
This is tough for me, man. I'm going to go over. I am. I'm very close, though. If I could push on any of these, I guarantee you this is probably the one I would push on.
Yeah, I feel the same about
I'm
it.
going to go over, but I think it's going to be close. I do think he'll be in the 150s, though.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Next up is a guy that, again, missed a lot of time last year, and that was Nestor Cortez. He threw 63.1 innings last year. Fred's got him projected for 105. Honestly, bro, I'm conflicted on this one. I'm really conflicted on this. I'm going to take the under on Nestor Cortez. I can't believe.
Yeah.
I'm going to take. Did you say hard?
So hard.
Hard.
Who's that?
It was like we talked about when Pete sat in last week. If you found out today that Nestor Cortez was done for the year, does that change your expectations for this team going forward?
No.
And I mean, everybody made a big deal about him striking out Soto 3 times in camp yesterday. So, I mean, he looks good, but again, this is a guy that's never really logged a lot of innings, and he threw 63 last year. So, I mean, what can we
63 terrible innings.
I mean, what can we really expect from him?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but
Here's another factor, too. Another factor is I genuinely believe that this team's going to land Snell.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not confident that Nestor can necessarily keep the job the entire year as that 5th starter.
Because who's the most, sorry, Chris, but who's the most susceptible to being that one that gets replaced in the rotation?
It could be the
after
next
struggling.
It could be the next guy we speak about too.
Right.
I mean, both these guys could be.
It's either one of those two.
Clark Schmidt gave me something last year that Nestor didn't, and I'm not trying to rip on Nestor because what he's brought to this team, we've never given him the true credit for. We've always been waiting for that other shoe to drop, and it's not necessarily fair to him, but. We're talking about a guy who threw 153 innings a couple of years ago for the first time ever, even coming close to that. And we saw the effects of it. And so for me, I'd put my money more on the guy who gave me dependability last year than on him at this point. And I'm going to have to go under.
All right, Ryan.
I'm going to go over. I think that he's going to be able to make a decent amount of starts, which should just get him over that number, but again, it just depends on. I think for this one though, you kind of want to wait and see what the rotation looks like on opening day, because I feel like that's going to be a major factor in figuring out Nestor's true role and the jeopardy of, you know, him potentially losing a spot in the rotation. It changes drastically with the addition of Snell, because then you got to think about it. If he is struggling, then I feel like Cortez would be the guy that goes based on the amount of lefties that you have in that rotation. I don't know if I want to have a majority left-handed rotation at that point. If it's not working out, I might want to try something else. So, but I am going to go with the over. He was a guy who last year I was big on forgetting about that other shoe dropping. It dropped. He was solidified as one of the best pitchers in baseball for a time span there. So I'm going to go back to that. Nestor's going to find his way back, and he's going to be a solid producer for this team this year.
Solid producer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Clark Schmidt last year threw to a 4.64 ERA. Fred's got him projected to be even a little bit better this year. 4.33. Chris.
What was he? 4.64.
4.64 last year. Yeah, and projected 4.33.
Fred. Damn. I'm gonna go over.
Okay.
But not in a bad. It's not a bad over. I'm not thinking. I still think he's gonna be better than last year. But I don't want to have too high expectations of this guy. For me, Clark Schmidt his role is to be reliable and take the ball every 5 days if that's what he's here to do.
Which he did last year.
Which I loved, and I thought that was the most important thing he could do for this team. I see him as like a 4.5 type of guy. If he's under 4.33, fucking God bless him. But
And
I'm gonna go over.
we forgot to mention this, but we I hope everybody's chiming along here too. Throw
Yeah, they
your
are.
over. Throw your over.
Yeah,
unders in
we
there as
got
well.
They are. Everyone is.
Okay.
Everyone is. Okay.
All right, so you got over on Schmitty.
For
Ryan?
the ERA, I'm gonna go under, because if you look at his numbers from last year, May 31st, his ERA was 5.01. I think and it just kept going lower and lower as the year went on. His lowest was 4.23 in like the first week of August. I think he's going to be around that July, August type of pitcher and kind of stay under that. I could even see it being under 4 this year if he takes that next step. But I am going to just go with the under of 4.33.
I really like this number for Clark Schmidt. Like the Stroman one, if I was going to push on something, this would be a number that I would want to push on, is 4.33.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to have games where last year he looked really good in games, and then other games he just got the shit kicked out of him. And because he's a 5-starter, and especially early on, the Yankees weren't really letting him go deep into the games. That kind of messes with the ERA a little bit. So I like a 4.2 to 4.4 ERA for him, but because we have to kind of put a stamp, I mean, we have to put a stamp on this. I'm going to be, sense of optimism here. I think he'll 4.25, somewhere in there for Clark Schmidt.
Okay.
To your, sorry, right?
No, I was just going to chime in on something I just saw in the chat from our boy Scott Wright, who had made a good comment here. I thought Clark's progression last year was a bit ahead of schedule. I'm optimistic he's going to be more impactful this year. So let's see. You're right. He kind of was chugging along last year. So it'll be nice to see.
And you don't need Clark Schmidt to throw to. It would be nice, obviously,
Right.
To be a guy that throws through a 3.10 ERA. If Clark Schmidt makes 32 starts and throws to a 4.10, 4.25 ERA, he's your 5th starter.
Even if he goes to a 4.5.
Find me a 5th starter that does that in baseball. So, I mean, the Yankees are going to be in really good if he's the 5th starter, though. Remember that.
Right.
Well, my point I was going to make is kind of what Scott was saying. I didn't see that comment, but given Christian's point of like he has a short leash, he's pulled early, that ERA's inflated. He really pitched to a high 3s ERA type of guy towards the end of the year last year. If you remember, Clark Schmidt was not only dependable by the end of the year, but he was actually pretty consistent.
Wouldn't you say you were most confident outside of Garrett Cole when Clark Schmidt was on the mound that they would get a win?
I mean, he was the only guy taking the ball every 5 days.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, there it is.
So for me, I think he has it in there, and I'm just going over because I don't I just think his innings are going to be more important to me at that point.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's
All
it.
right.
I think it's doable.
So I've been snaking this in case you haven't noticed, and we're up to where Ryan gets to do the first pick here, and it just so happens that it's somebody Ryan hates tremendously.
Aaron Judge.
DJ LeMahieu.
You've had battles with DJ year after year.
DJ.
Last year, DJ LeMahieu had a
Whisperer.
243 batting average. This year, Fred
Ooh.
says he will improve to 253.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Man, it pains me. And hopefully we get a streak going here and I'm wrong for the second year in a row. I'm going under. I'm kind of off the DJ LeMahieu train. I don't really see a future with him on the Yankees. I don't know if he's going to be someone that can contribute the way that they want him to. So I although the one promising thing is that he did look like a different player when once Sean Casey came on board. I want to say, I know Sean Casey's not there anymore, but maybe he unlocked something that can
And I think he was
help
healthy.
LeMahieu. And he was healthy. But that's another thing that kind of bothers me with him. He plays hurt a lot. Like, you got to kind of speak up. I know you have that stubborn mentality, whatever.
Go on the
but
IL.
yeah, go on the IL if you have to. We got a super chat here from Rob. This is about Clark Schmidt, so we might as well just get it in there before we move on to
Get
Right,
it in
man,
with Clark.
thank
Here's
you.
a question, asks Ra. If
Rah.
Clark has a better ERA than Stroman this year, would you be shocked? I wouldn't. I got Clark down for a 3.8 ERA.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I would be shocked because I expect bigger things from Stroman.
Yeah, and I would hope that would mean Schmidt takes a nice leap.
Yeah, Schmidt getting down to Stroman, not Stroman getting up to Schmidt.
Right.
All right,
Good
so I'm going to take the over on LeMahieu. I don't think I think the days of DJ LeMahieu being a 300 hitter are over, but can he, especially if the Yankees are going to bat him leadoff at 265, 270?
You
I
have
mean,
to.
is that asking too much from him? Again,
Recency bias. It's yes, that is too much to ask for him.
I mean, the bar is set low
From
at
him.
253. I mean, I'm going to take the over, though. I still think there's a little bit more left in there.
And
Well,
you
you
have
know
to
what's
hope that
great?
they go. Sorry, Chris, again, I keep cutting you off, but you have to hope that the approach from LeMahieu is going to be a little altered this year,
Yeah.
because you're hearing from camp like Volpe's going to be take a different approach. Verdugo's bringing a new approach. Maybe LeMahieu kind of molds more to that type of player instead of the player we've seen in recent years.
Well, you know what's crazy to me?
Mhm.
Pete put up the graphic. In my head, for some reason, DJ's only been struggling the last 2 seasons. Like, it was this past year and the year before, but it's been 3 seasons now where he's been under 270. Last year he was under 2. He's at 243. So at this point, I'm not going to keep being optimistic. Do I think it's more than possible? Yeah, I would say he better be fucking over 250.
It's very important he's over 250 if he's the leadoff hitter. That's like, you got to get over that number.
He better be, but you know what? I'm sorry, DJ. I loved you. I love you. I still love you. It's not you, it's me. But
No, it's you.
I can't be optimistic anymore, pal. I'm going to take the under. Fool me once, shame on you.
All right, next up here, the big trade acquisition of the offseason, Juan Soto.
Over.
You don't even know what it is.
Don't care.
All right. Well, I picked OPS because I think it's probably the most important stat for Juan Soto. Last year, Juan Soto had an OPS at 930. Fred says he's going to have an OPS at 925 this year. I'm taking the over. I think this guy's going to be pushing 1,000 this year. I mean, like, if not 1,000, like 990. I just think he's going to have a monster year with Aaron Judge batting behind him, because obviously that's not the way I would do things, but that's the way it looks like the Yankees are going to do things. Juan Soto's going to have a monster year, pushing 1,000 on the OPS.
I'm going over for sure. And I just want to bring up, I know everyone's seen the clip by now of him hitting that ball to the warning track.
Yeah, that was nice.
It's not even about where the ball goes. Do you see how direct he is to the ball and that fucking pop off the bat?
Haven't you missed that, a lefty bat with that
Let me
kind
tell
of
you
swing?
something, dude. It's the first thing I thought of was, I can't wait. I'll actually make a prediction. Juan Soto, home run opening day at Yankee Stadium for sure. for
Okay.
sure. Put it in
You're
the
good with that
books.
shit.
Bet your money on it.
I
He's
might.
hitting a home run in his first game in pinstripes. This guy's swing is he was literally born to play at Yankee Stadium. I'm going over. This guy's going to be a
Ooh,
beast.
that pumped me up a little. I'm also going over. Going to be a beast. He's a top 3 offensive player, and the other one's batting right behind him. That's wild. I
Sick.
mean, who was his
Sick.
protection in San Diego?
Was it Machado?
Was it
Machado.
Machado? I
Machado.
mean, you know, and Machado's is a nice backup to have, but he's not Aaron Judge.
It might. I honestly,
Think about how often.
I don't know for sure if it was Machado.
Yeah,
I'm just
but
saying.
even whoever it was, think about how often teams over the last 2 years have decided to pitch around Aaron Judge and pitch around certain players. You're not going to have that luxury of with Juan Soto up right before him with Judge coming up. I can't let Soto get on here because then what am I going to do with Aaron Judge? So it's going to be a pretty wild season. I want to say for those two especially, it's going to be fun.
All right. Speaking of Aaron Judge, he's next. Last year, because he ran into that fucking wall, he only hit 37 home runs. Fred thinks he's going to run to a wall again this year because he projects him to hit 37 home runs this year.
Drunk, hammered.
Chris?
You're hammered with that fucking projection, dude.
Yeah, I thought he was getting sober until that one.
Hammered.
I said some of these were a little drinky.
Hammered. You're close to being blackout. You're close to being blackout at that point. Let me tell you something. Over by a fucking mile. Over by a mile, man. Over.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
I don't have much to add. I'm just gonna say he's gonna hit more than 37 home runs this year. Over
60.
I'll tell you what, dude.
Wouldn't
I'll
doubt
fucking dip my balls right into that drink you have right there.
on a
Oh,
live.
yeah, 60.
He posted on the NYYU Twitter what the over under home runs between Judge and Soto. I think he said it at 90.
Ooh.
Over.
Over, baby.
Over.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Over. Judge is
feeling
going
it.
to
Ball
Judge.
dipping.
I'm telling you, as long as Judge stays away, as long as Aaron Judge
old
stays
Sarge
away
with the
from
ball dipping line.
as long as Aaron Judge stays away from walls in Los Angeles, he is going to hit 60. 60.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's breaking his record, but he's hitting 60.
Okay. Maybe he will, though.
Okay.
Maybe he will.
But we're not saying it.
Okay.
Speaking of breaking things, Anthony Rizzo broke his fucking head last year.
True.
And he only played in 99 games. Fred says he's going to play in 116 this year. Ryan, what do you say?
I mean, for games, I think he'll go over that because I think he'll have a healthy year. That was kind of a freak incident that happened last year. He's going to get the playing time. So I'm not really worried so much about the games. I'm just worried about the production in those games. But I'll say over for his games played.
Yeah, I'm going to say 116 again. I mean, that's such a low bar to set is 116.
Yeah. I think he'll be in the 130s.
I'm not expecting him to play 140, 150, but I'm expecting him to go past 116. So I'm going to take the over. Chris?
I'm taking the over. I think it'll be high 130s. If we're lucky, 140s. One thing I liked is that it was his fucking head and not his back. Not that I liked for him, but for his future's sake. Maybe it keeps him even healthier this year because, like you said, SGR was a freak thing. I'm going over.
Slim and sexy now, not big and sexy. Giancarlo Stanton actually played in 101 games last year, which
Wow.
I didn't think he played in that many. I mean,
I don't think he knew he played in that many.
So Fred says he's going to play in 113 this year. So who started last time, Ryan?
Yeah,
No,
go ahead,
you
Chris.
did.
So that's me now because we're sneaking back.
All right,
around.
go ahead.
Oh my God. And I love Stanton. I love that he says he's not supposed to be the stand-up guy, blah, blah, blah. I love that he's the stand-up guy. I love that he's trying something different, lost the weight, new stance in spring training. Until he does it, I got to take the under. Until he does it, I have to. I love him, but I don't trust him. I love him, but I don't trust him.
Okay, it's a love. It's a. If you guys were in a Facebook relationship, you'd have it under. It's complicated.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go over only because I'm with you, Christian, on you got to prove it to me. But for me, I think Big G, again, we're talking mentality. We're talking coming prepared. I got to give Big G benefit of the doubt here. I think he's a workhorse. I think he's a guy who has been a stand-up guy and also has a lot to prove. I'm going over, man. I'm going over for you, G.
Oh,
Ryan?
man, Big G. I'm gonna go under because there's a couple things playing into this, because if you remember the Cashman quotes when he was kind of throwing he was saying some pretty
Shade.
nasty shit about
it was more than
Stan.
shade.
He basically said, he was healthy, and you're not gonna. I can't remember what the exact quote was, but
He said it's part of his game now.
Yeah, getting injured is part of his game. That's what he
right.
said.
So if that's the mentality with this guy now, that when he does get hurt, then they're not going to be immediate to bring him back, especially if they have the depth pieces that they have with a guy like Jason Dominguez. You could see him get hurt, and then his role can take a drastic change, because enough is enough. They might have that mindset now. All right, you're getting hurt all the time. I'm done trying to get you to play a full season. You are now going to be a glorified bench player for us. I see that happening.
That's a great point. If Stan's going to get hurt this year, get hurt before June, because once Dominguez is ready to come back, your playing time might be done.
Yeah, so it might not even be a matter of health this year. It might be a matter of performance, and that there's guys
That's
on
another
the
thing
horizon that are better.
That's a great point, Ryan. It's not even that he was hurt last year. He hit 191 with a sub 700
Right.
OPS.
He's not going to get that
This
chance
is John
this year.
Carlos Stan we're talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was non-existent.
All right. So it's Chris is up first here, and it's Gleyber Torres, who Gleyber interestingly said yesterday during media day that
I love that quote.
he wants to be a Yankee for life. This is where he wants to be, and he would be willing to take a discount to stay here.
Wow.
Now, I still need to see the Yankees offer him a large contract, because even a discount is going to be 9 figures. Right? It's just going to be a 9-figure deal, even on a discount. But he's the guy that wants to be here. And I've said this 100 times, and I'll say it again. I don't hate Gleyber Torres. I don't think Gleyber Torres sucks. Gleyber Torres is a good baseball player. He's not a great baseball player. He's also a space cadet. Now Gleyber Torres is a little older and maybe a little bit more mature. Maybe he cleans up some of that. So this is a big year for Gleyber Torres in his walk year.
Mm-hmm.
And last year he hit 25 home runs. Fred thinks he's only going to hit 21 this year. Chris?
Over. I don't know that he'll hit 30. I hope he does. I could see him hitting 35 home runs. I'm going to go over. I think Volpe fell into how many last year? 22?
20. Did he hit just 20 on the nose?
Did he?
I don't
Find
maybe
out.
he hit.
Volpe hit 21.
Okay, 21.
Okay, so if Volpe can
Yeah, you're right.
run
Chris.
into 21, I think Gleyber Torres, a guy who hit what? How many that one year? 38 or 48?
No, he hit 39. 38.
38, 39. So for me, it's there.
38.
I think you have a much better lineup around you. You're going to be a guy where pitchers are trying to take a break by the time they get to you, and you have that talent to make them pay for it. I got to go over.
Yeah, I'm going big over. I'm expecting a lot out of Gleyber Torres this year. Last year, if you had to pick one player, that played for a majority of most of the year, he played in 158 games last year. He was their best offensive contributor, I'd say, for the duration of the season, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, he was.
I think
he was definitely the most consistent.
Yeah, I mean, look, Judge when healthy was the best, but Torres played the whole year. Now, with that in mind, this year he's not even close to being in the spotlight this year. He is so far down the list of talking points. You combine that with the fact that he's on a contract year. Yeah, he's saying I'll take a discount, but he's in control of what that discount's going to be, depending on you know, the payoff he's going to get. Look at what Aaron Judge got when he bet on himself. I think he went over like $375 million because he bet on himself. So it seems like Glaber's taking that same route of betting on himself. And, you know, I think with that, combined with that contract year stuff, I know a lot of people say contract years aren't, you know, it's kind of like a myth type of thing that, you know, it's not really, doesn't really show anything. There's nothing statistically relevant on that, but just in certain situations, I don't know. I could see this being a huge thing for Glaber. I mean, look at what Aaron Judge did by betting on himself. Think of that example that he set for.
All right, we got a super chat here from
This
LI.
might be LI Yankee King's greatest comment he's ever made.
Yeah, Stan is under
pressure.
Yeah, I mean, a little
He's
bit.
the player under the most pressure.
Well, I need a little bit more coherency, bro. Okay?
That's okay, bro. Look, it's a good comment here.
Well, I'll fix it up here. Stan is the player under the most pressure to perform on the roster because if Jones and Dominguez are coming, okay, they're coming.
They're coming. They're edged right now. They're coming.
If Stan doesn't perform, he's gone. I don't know if he's gone. I don't think the Yankees are going to be there yet to get rid of him.
No.
But yes, as we discussed earlier, his playing time is going to be significantly cut. So yeah, I mean, 21 is a shockingly low number for Gleyber Torres. I think he's going to have a big year because I think he steadied out last year. I really think we saw a more mature hitter. And like you said, man, if it's a lot of it, this is going to depend on lineup placement too. How big of a year he has? Is he the guy protecting Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, or are they going to, you know, is Rizzo the guy and then Gleyber? You know, so. But I would love to see him like 6 maybe, and I think he.
I think he's a great spot there, and that's kind of going back to my point was. A pitcher looks for places he could take breaks in lineups, and obviously, the more the least amount of breaks you can give a pitcher, the better. And when you have Gleyber at the bottom, a guy who clearly has shown he has the power in those positions.
LI's triggered in the chat because somebody called him out because he said that Chance Adams was going to be Garrett Cole.
Oh shit, man! That's a take that kind of stays with you.
In 2018, I saw the beef going. It was actually very entertaining.
You could.
And one quick thing
with Twitter, you got to.
Before we finish up the last few, however many we have, Medina put in the chat, something's going on with his dad. So thoughts and prayers there because that's our boy.
Medina, bro.
Yeah, Medina.
Just so you know, you know, we saw it and we're there for you.
Yeah, brother. Thanks for bringing down the show, bro.
Okay, sorry.
Anyway,
how many players do we have left?
We have 4 players in a team win total.
Okay.
All right. So next up, who started this one?
Me.
This one's from Gleyber. You did. So SGR Verdugo, 264 last year, 277 on the batting average this year is the projection.
Ooh.
Over, baby. Oh, wait, hold on. 277 is Fred projecting?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a high projection. I don't know. I'm actually going to go under because you could see what?
Wow, he already wrote it.
I already wrote it.
Oh man, it's all right, dude. It's all right. Cross it out.
Just because sometimes it takes a little while to acclimate to the dimensions of Yankee Stadium, so I am interested to see what his approach is playing at a much different ballpark. 277. If he goes over that, man, this team's gonna fucking roll this year.
Yeah,
man.
Dude, that's a high over.
That's high.
This is the third one where now I'm going to say if I could push on something, I'd push on this.
Yeah,
I love this number.
That's a good number.
I love this number for Alex Verdugo. And let me get on my soapbox here for a quick second. I am sick and tired of Yankee fans treating this guy like he's some piece of fucking garbage. Because he came over here dressed looking like a homeless rat, and because he played for the Red Sox. This is a good, solid baseball player.
Yep.
His numbers aren't going to jump off at the page at you. He's not going to do anything spectacularly, but you know what he is? He's a grinder and he's a good baseball player. Okay. How many times did we see him do shit and then show up in the biggest moments against?
I was just going to say
in those games.
At the very least, we're not playing him anymore.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And Aaron Judge apparently pushed the Yankees to go out and make the trade for this guy. So yeah, my only reservation about Juan Soto, about Alex Verdugo was that I initially thought when I saw it happen was that meant they were out of Soto, but because they got Soto and now they have Verdugo, I love fucking Alex Verdugo on this team. Yeah, dude,
It's all right.
Juan
tongue
Soto.
tied.
We got Juan Soto on the brain, okay?
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you.
And I think Alex
Oh.
Verdugo, I would love Alex Verdugo to hit leadoff on this team. And Boone said that even though he wanted to be DJ, there will be times it could be Verdugo, maybe against some tough righties.
Yeah, I see that.
Bro, 275. I mean, fuck it. I'm going over. I think
Wow.
275 to 280 in that range is going to be fucking spectacular. And the Yankees are
Absolutely.
going to be a real dangerous team with him hitting in there. But if the number's 277, let's go fuck it over for.
I don't know, man. If he's hitting over 277, then this is the number one team in the American League.
Here's how I do this in my head. When you start to talk about a player and then you give what stat you're going to give us, I immediately go, okay, what would be a great batting average for him to have that I'd be more than happy with? And the first number that came up was 270. And then I was like, so his over-under should be like 265. So when you came at me at 277, then I know I'm going to go under. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going under, but I think it's right there. I see Verdugo high 260s, mid 270s. And if that happens, he's a perfect lefty piece in this lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're back at Ryan starting again, but I guess we are.
Well,
Chris went last.
No, you do now.
No,
Oh,
yeah, you go now.
Oh, or whatever. All right, so here was the change that I made. I went to Clay Holmes just because he is the closer, and like I said, I don't really want to spend too much time talking about.
Yeah, what did
Jose
Fred have him
Trevino.
at 7 last year?
What?
He had him at a
Saves?
low
Yeah.
save.
This is one of his drinky ones, his little drinky ones, because
Uh-huh.
last year Holmes saved 24 games, and Fred says he's only going to save 12 this year.
Yeah, I feel like that was the same thing last year.
here's-
And oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
This is what I prefaced the whole segment with. You think a lot of these are fucking unrealistic. And then last year, a lot of these guys went under some of these unrealistic numbers.
No, I
Fred
think this,
knows what he's doing.
No, I think this one is unrealistic.
Yeah, he might not be good with closers.
I don't-
12?
Last year was bad.
Yeah, 12.
12 is the over under?
Yes.
And he had how many last year? 24.
24.
Over. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, you're up first. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not shy in saying this, that I think the Yankees' biggest concern is him being the closer.
Yeah.
12 saves?
Come on.
He's not going to be that bad. I don't think he's going to be bad. I'm just going to be shitting my pants in a big game with him.
12 is either he's not the closer anymore or he's hurt.
Yeah, same. This is the same thing we talked about last year. That
So
is a very low number.
Chris, you're over on that,
Yeah, over. Come on.
Ryan.
Also over.
All
Not
right.
much. I don't have really. It's literally. It's kind of that same thing from last.
He could pitch with his
offseason going
eyes
in.
closed and
Especially, and you could even say last year there was more debate on him losing his job. Like there were people that could come in. Who's going to come in and be the closer right now? I
There's
can't think
one
of
guy.
anyone. I
There's
just
one
can't
guy.
think.
And
Okay,
again,
J-Lo?
Loizaga?
you cannot trust him.
No, not
J-Lo?
enough to give up on Holmes like that. Or they trade Holmes, or they move on from Holmes.
maybe.
I don't know. I think they like him. I think
Yeah, I think so
the
too.
way they wrote the language of his contract, they obviously want this guy to be a closer.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's my biggest concern with this team. I mean, hopefully,
Yeah, some names. Heel might be someone to look at. Ian
I don't-
Hamilton. I don't
yeah.
really see those guys as being closers for
Ian
them.
Hamilton's a guys nobody's talking about. He was tremendous last year.
Yeah,
before.
Yes.
Hamilton. Hamilton
But-
could be.
But he also
Potential,
got hurt.
but- Yeah, I'm just not really.
Now, just take these numbers and throw them out the window because I don't think they really mean too much. But I just wanted to bring them up. Austin Wells, last year he hit 4 dingers. Fred's got him down for 9. So,
Mhm.
Chris,
I think it's really going to come down to how much playing time he gets. He had 4, and how many games did he play last year?
like a month. What did he even play? Like 25, 30 games, something like that.
Yeah, I think
that.
Austin Wells hits
Yeah.
10 to 13 maybe.
Yeah, 19 games, 70 at bats.
I'm going over. I'm going over because even Kyle Higashioka, when he got enough playing time,
stroker.
would fall into double digits. So I'm going to go over for Wells there.
Yeah, that's actually a good point because you got to imagine that for this year, Austin Wells, depending on how Trevino does, is going to be the backup. And you look at like the 2021, 2022, 2023, Kyle Higashioka, each of those years, 10 home runs.
Right.
So I think Austin Wells, even if he is a backup catcher this year, which I don't even see being the case, I see it more as either a platoon or him eventually taking the job and Trevino being the personal catcher for Garrett Cole.
He will take the job
so
because he's a lefty.
I gotta say over. Yeah, I gotta say over.
Same Z.
Especially the way he looked towards the end of last year, he was really starting to find it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Wells gets to 25 this year, but if you're going to get 15 to 20 out of him,
if he gets enough playing time, I definitely see him getting close to 20.
Sure.
I mean, obviously for the sake of this, I think by the All-Star break, he's the full-time catcher.
Yeah.
And Trevino
So
just catching.
So
yeah, I mean,
overs all around there.
overs all around there.
Yeah, we're kind of agreeing a lot this year, no?
Yeah. Hey, I think it's been a good
So,
year.
so who started that one, Ryan?
Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
it's me.
All right.
Put a star next to it.
Actually, it's not you. You can be replaced, you know.
I'll go on assignment forever.
You have split.
Thank you though for saying I can fucking be replaced. Yeah, I could just let one of my personalities take
I was gonna
over.
say,
I'm
bro,
fucking
one of your split personalities, the one that's
yeah,
not.
just, it's SGR's gone. All right, he's no longer with us.
Ryan, we can never replace you, bro.
Irreplaceable.
No, you can't replace me. It's me, Buck.
I can't jump into a buck though.
It's hard.
Our last player here is Anthony Volpe. Hit 209 last year, and Fred's got him down for 229 this year.
Ooh, I start, right?
Yeah, go
Hey,
ahead.
who started last time?
Yeah, sure. I got to go over.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Volpe, another guy who has a lot to prove. I think last year, what did he hit last year?
209.
Yeah,
I think that was so low. I think this guy's adjusting. We saw glimpses of him being more consistent at the plate. I think coming into camp with a different mentality this year, being less intimidated, kind of having, when you're starting off, you have the
He's not competing for anything this year.
right, and it's just more of like it's not even just competing. It's more of like, oh shit, this is my first year. Oh shit, the Yankees even said I still need to develop. How's this gonna go? All of those questions are kind of out the window now, and it's more of a locked in, doing what he needs to do on a major league level. Volpe, the hope is that he's a 300 hitter. At the very least, I see him as a 270 guy over time. So I'd have to say well over that. I think it's a huge disappointment if he's under.
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to hope that he takes a nice leap because if you look at his numbers, I think the first week of September, he was up to 218 batting average. And what's Fred saying? 229?
Yeah.
So he should, if that's like a high watermark from last year, he should be able to go past that number this year. And wait, what was Judge saying about Volpe? There was a quote that came out over the last couple of weeks that fans have to kind of be patient in his approach now. Does he plan on changing his approach and being more of a contact guy?
I know the uppercut's gone, they're saying.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, last time this guy made an adjustment, it worked out nicely for him.
His swing looks very level right now from what I saw.
Again, another guy from what I hear, and this is what I'm loving going into this year. It just seems like these guys want to be here and they want to win. Volpe's a guy who just works his ass off to be where he's at. And that's definitely something that you got to fucking hold to a standard when you play for the Yankees. So I'm rooting for him, obviously, because I'm a Yankee fan, but I love the work ethic stuff that some of these guys and the way that they take accountability. He's one of those guys. He's a New York shortstop. He's a guy that can represent this team nicely. And I think he's going to take a nice step in the right direction this year.
Look, any year that you can add 20 points to your average is a big step forward. But like even if he hits 229 this year, you'll look at the positive. He added 20 points. Well, he's still hit 229. I mean, like how good are you going to feel about him going forward that he's a 229 hitter? I mean, it's
Not great.
so I mean, what's realistic for him? I mean, we want him to hit 260, 270.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm taking
that's a lot to ask for right now.
All right, here, let's get to Raj's super chat. Best case scenario is Volpe's hitting leadoff versus lefties and Verdugo against righties.
It does, from what it sounds like, Volpe's going to be more of a 9 guy.
I want Volpe to start the season at the bottom in the 9 hole.
Yeah,
I like him as a 9 guy, but I wouldn't mind him if he becomes more of that contact guy to be in a leadoff position, like Ross says.
Look, they're saying he got rid of the uppercut swing. I wasn't even asking him to do that. I was just asking him to learn a 2-strike approach. If he did that, I think he could add 40 to 50 points on his average easily. So, again, dude, he's going to hit 250 this year. That's still here. We're harping on the batting average because it was so shockingly low last year. But the bigger numbers for me are going to be not even the home runs, because he ran into 20 home runs last year. So with a better approach, he's going to hit 25 home runs this year easily. Getting on base and stealing bases.
Yeah.
Those are the things that he really needs to do. Get on base, steal bases. Get on base, steal bases. And, you know, obviously we're taking the over here, 229. I think he should eclipse that easily. And if he doesn't, we need to have a conversation in the offseason.
Yeah, can I know we're running long, so I don't want to be long with this, but when I was growing up, the way they taught hitting, was hands here straight down to the ball.
Okay.
Straight down, right? You lead with the knob of the bat to the ball. And then within the last like 10 to 15 years, it changed and it's now become more of a uppercut to the ball.
Well, it's a launch angle with the
okay, exactly. And
I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying.
No, I know. But it's great with guys like Judge, right? It's great with guys who are supposed to have launch angle. But when you have a guy like Volpe doing shit like that, that's A, why he runs into 20 home runs. But B, it's why his average is 209. Because on the times where he doesn't, he's not a home run hitter. And on the times where he doesn't, he's missing the ball. He's missing the
I believe they said that he had
great point.
Finished in the top 5 of most strikeouts in franchise history last year.
Damn.
So, I mean, that's...
And like Kevin Cruz in the chat saying, we don't swing down. I'm not saying you swing down. I'm saying everyone's always been taught, yes, a level swing. Okay. What I'm saying is you lead with your hands. And guys don't do that anymore. The first thing that you're seeing guys do is drop the barrel and come up on the ball. You're seeing, if you want to fight with me, fine, but go on YouTube and watch Judge take batting lessons. It's the one thing they talk about is dropping the barrel and coming to the ball. That shit doesn't work with Volpe. It just doesn't.
All right, last up here, we have the Yankee win total. We got this from DraftKings. They actually do half because for betting purposes, but I just dropped the half for our argument here. The Yankees won 82 pathetic games last year. DraftKings says they're going to win 93 this year.
Wow.
Over.
Wow.
Look, man, we're going to feel good about this team. We're going to say that Juan Soto and Aaron Judge and Volpe's going to have a big rebound year, and Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon and on and on and on. You can't take the under. Will this team win a World Series? I don't know, but 93 over.
Yeah, dude. For me, if we're riding this train, it's got to be over. It's got to be way over. I'm thinking 10 games over.
Ooh,
I'm taking the over, dude.
Wow.
Let's go into this
the 100 mark.
If I'm going to get my heart broken, this year will be the year that it's broken the most.
Okay, old Sarge with the super chat. Chris, I'd stop busting your balls on the douche whistle if it wasn't pink.
That's a great and fair point. Just want to let you know that as of right now, in my mind, this is the last douche whistle that I plan on purchasing. So
All right. We'll see.
just so you know.
You know,
Douche.
there is an interesting point in the chat that this number is 11 games higher than it was last year. So again, like, you know, the jump from Volpe, 20 points, you know, the jump for the Yankees to win 11 more games. Anybody that wins 11 more games the season previous when you were already in the 80s, that's a big jump. But dude, over. OVER.
I'm
Yeah.
sticking with the positivity here. I'm going to also say over. You have to imagine that they're not going to put up with what they put up with last year. You're not going to see a middle of the lineup that trots out a guy who is the worst player in baseball for 3 months with the situation with Anthony Rizzo. You're not going to need to do that. You're going to have more support in the middle of the lineup. And how many games did we watch last year that they should have won those games? I know that's kind of what bad teams do. They lose the games they're supposed to win, but there was at least 5 games off the top of my head. You know, that Marlins game, I think there was one against Chicago. That was a rough one that they really needed to win. You add that and combine it with the fact that Juan Soto's in the middle of this lineup with Aaron Judge. I mean, now the problem being is that the American League is still really strong, but the American League Central is a shitty division. Plus, they play the National League more now. It's like an even or equal schedule, whatever. I gotta go with the over here, man. I gotta.
Yeah, I mean, so that's going to wrap up Fred's projections for 2024. We're going to take a look at this around the All-Star break again, see if anybody
Okay.
wants to change their opinion or change their
Okay.
vote on this.
I like that. We did that
I like
last
that.
year, right?
Yeah, so we did it once. Did we
We
definitely
did it
do
last year.
I don't think we did it last year.
You might not have been here. You might have been on assignment.
Yeah, I do. I got a lot of assignments to go on these days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Well, when you have multiple personalities, bro, you can't keep
Maybe it
track
was
of
2
everything.
years ago. Maybe you're right.
Yes.
Who knows? Who the fuck knows anymore?
Who knows, dude? Who cares? Let's just win a World Series.
Go
Yeah,
back
let's
on
win a
Yes
let's
Network. Trying to
let's
get a
win
new job. I want to get a job. I'm done being a manager. I want to go back in the booth. I really do. I really do. It's hard. It's hard out there. There's so many guys out there that just don't value and respect me.
I think honestly, Buck Showalter is my favorite impression to do. It just brings something out of me.
You know, it's a little buck. It's a little bit of buck. That's all.
Oh Christ.
Story for a different day.
So the Yankees are actually going to make their in-game debuts this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I think Sunday game is going to be televised on Yes. So that'll be first time for the majority of the fan base to take a look at the Yankees. And Juan Soto is going to be playing in that game, from what I understand. So it'd be your first look at Juan Soto
Ooh.
playing.
On Sunday, he's playing.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
home on Sunday.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm just excited, man. Just
Yeah, I'm
fucking
pumped.
excited
I'm pumped,
for
man.
baseball.
My whole
Fucking
mood fucking
excited
changes.
for this baseball team.
Yeah.
Again, you know, oh, they need this guy. Shut up. Fine. They need this guy. But I don't know how you can sit there as a fan and say that you love this team and not be excited for the season to start.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We just got fucking Juan Soto. Juan Soto's in this lineup now with Aaron Judge.
At the very least, you know this team is not going to be fucking pathetic like they were last year. They were pathetic last year.
Pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be a pathetic baseball team. Is it a championship team? Again, don't know. But it won't be a pathetic one. It's going to be a postseason team, and one that, if everything hits right and maybe an addition or two is made, is going to be a championship team. I'm high on it. I'm feeling good about this team.
Here's what I've said. I've said this a bunch of times about last year's team. You knew something was wrong when they never hit a stride at any point in the season, right? I think their highest winning streak was 4 or 5 games, and it was immediately met with mediocrity after that. They never hit their stride. They never got you to a point where you couldn't think of anything else but what time they were playing and putting that game on your TV. As much as we love this team, as much as we watch every pitch, no matter how bad they are, you never got to the point where it was almost more last year where you were like, oh, gotta watch the Yankees. Like it was almost like
an obligation.
You knew you were torturing yourself, but you do because you love the team. where normally we're used to this team at least hitting a stride where you're like, I can't fucking wait until first pitch. And we never got that last year.
Chris, that's a great point with them not really hitting their stride or going on. Because I really think that going on at least one big run is what
huge.
Gets you into the postseason. They're high. What was the most games they won in a row last year? They
think
did it
5.
twice. Yeah, they hit 5 games in a row twice. They also went on a 9-game losing streak during the year last year. Like that shit can't happen. You need to pile up some wins this year. That's going to be a big.
Think about how pathetic they were that they had a 9-game losing streak with Garrett Cole throwing the way that he did.
Right. That's so pathetic.
Yeah. No, come on.
What's not pathetic, okay, would be you joining us in the Audi Club on April 20th for the rescheduled NYYU Day, rescheduled Aaron Judge bobblehead day from the rain out last year. There are limited tickets available. I believe last count, we are now under 20 tickets left for NYYU Day in the Audi Club at Yankee Stadium on April 20th. Okay. And also, if you're still in the chat, we want to thank you. Fred's always one of our longest shows of the year. It's also one of our most fun shows of the year. Look forward to this every year. But we want to thank everybody that's been in the chat. If you're still in the chat and you haven't done so already, please like this video, subscribe to NYY Underground. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
And big news next week. Don't forget.
Big news next week. We're so fucking pumped about this. When we say NYY to the moon, this is the type of shit that we're talking about. This fucking channel, this podcast, all of us here that makes this thing turn. Bro, I'm telling you, I don't just say this shit because it's my show or our show, I should say, or it's a channel that we're on. I truly fucking believe it. This show was dead 2 years ago. This show was dead in the fucking grave. One man brought it out of the grave. We breathed new life into it. And now I can confidently say you will not get the type of content anywhere else that you get on this YouTube channel. From Pete and Francis doing Designated Spitters, the Farm Report with Dane and Carlos, Bronx or Nothing with Mario and Kevin. We got Johnny Lasagna here. I know I might be missing other people. The NYYST podcast. Put that fucking lineup up against anybody, and we kick their ass. This is the #1 place for Yankees news, talk, everything. Real talk for the real fan. It's right fucking here. Let's go. Let's have a big season on NYYU and a big season for the New York Yankees. We want to thank everybody that's been in the chat tonight. We want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 369 of the NYYST podcast. SGR.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace.
Top 10 radar, yeah, we on your radar. Never miss, dog, and that's on occasion. Yeah, we on your radar. Yeah.
Hey,
we on your
look, top floor, lifestyle, chef and boy, I'm cooking up. Way too high, ain't coming down, you see me if you looking up. I don't really talk too much, I show I'm running numbers up. Lucky that I'm showing up, I'm going off, they know what's up. Wrist too silly, yeah, numbers crack the billy, yeah, don't need no dilly. I'm too fresh, I feel like really, yeah. Feel the duffels up the sign, I need a million. I'm about to take off, and I know that I'm on they radar.
top 10